주일날 4시 48분이 지나고 있습니다. 오후 꽃동산교회 영어 예배를 갔다 와서 한숨 자고 또 오후 읽을 시간이 됐습니다. Character. The life of George Wilson, so admirably and affectionately related by his sister, is probably one of the most marvelous records of pain and long-suffering. And yet of persistent, noble, and useful work that is to be found in the whole history of literature. Managing stress. The use of positive affirmation statements is really a behavior modification technique used in conjunction with relaxation techniques, deep breathing, or mental imagery to train the mind to give the ego positive strokes and strengthen self-esteem. Lean in. Women work and the will to lead. Being judged against the current all-consuming standard means mothers who work outside the home feel as if we are failing, even if we are spending the same number of hours with our kids as our mothers did. On holidays, I took trips hiking the local mountains, standing in front of a 1,000-year-old statue of Buddha, offering a traditional prayer for luck. Even once visiting a POW camp, long ago forgotten to the rest of the world. Users, not customers. As mentioned earlier, the Pizza Hut mobile app lets users shake the phone to cover wings in sauce and play a car racing game, all with the goal of having them order a meal on the go. Hungry supermarket survival. If you like things on the mild side, choose banana pepper slices instead. Many of the technological capabilities from which the United States gains its massive advantage will be generated out of the Second Cold War, and Poland will be flooded with American technology and enterprise. Create the life you really want. Is there alignment between how you are earning a living and your core? Yes. Official guide to the Smithsonian. The Iceman reconstruction shows how he might have looked in life. The science of mind. The infinite is personal to every soul who believe in the infinite. Show your work. You want to feedback from people who care about you and what you do. Work. Romans competing with the slaves for jobs were not hopeless. Choose your story, change your life, silence your inner critic, and rewrite your life from the inside out. The answer for him is no. Since then, however, leading economists in the OECD and in major financial institutions have been choosing their words carefully when discussing future growth prospects. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Mastering the inner game of wealth. Most importantly, my husband and I finally got how important it was to save the first 10% of our income every month, no matter what. Attitudes are the 101. Like it or not, physical appearance impact a person's attitudes. The School of Greatness. Uson's ability as an All-American, Heisman winning All-Pro NFL cornerback was so freakish, so otherworldly that he didn't dial up his practice habits until 10 years into his now 18-year professional career, and even then he only did it because he realized he was setting a bad example and creating bad habits in some of the younger players who looked up to him. recycling. Perhaps every government should have laws like this. Secrets to success in the new world of innovation. And increasingly, consumers will use tech for ordering pre-selected ingredients to craft perfect meals and reduce wasted or spoiled food. Priceless. The myths of fair value and how to take advantage of it. When things were put this way, the group overwhelmingly 81% preferred B. You are not so smart. Why your memory is mostly fiction. The GRE is a standardized test used by many colleges to determine whether or not to accept graduate students. These people pick and choose what they want to believe like they are at the drive-through window at McDonald's. Yup, I can do this. By this point, you should be feeling much more connected to your authentic self and competent and clear about who you are apart from your old stuff. Bounce. The art of turning tough times into triumph. I'm going to want some time to plug in some new numbers, P said, clicking open her laptop. Prosperity affirmation. If you have a belief that money is evil or unclean, let's face it, you are going to have a hard time with money. How chartered a lie. However, this is not what happened in this case. Now discover your strengths. I used to think that there was a piece of metal in my hand and a magnet on the ceiling. The essentials. They'll keep the innovation team intact. Help innovation teams embrace collective goals, leverage one another's different strengths, and share how to document knowledge while innovations are under development. Life lessons. Thinking about this helps us to understand the meaning of our lifetime. Originals. When someone made an argument for a different wrong candidate, judge, it quadrupled their chances of hiring the right one. bipolar disorder. But because you have a bipolar disorder, you have a responsibility to yourself to become aware of your environment and the factors that influence your emotion and moods. Keep it simple. Unclutter your mind to uncomplicate your life. A former business colleague once told me that his belief in the importance of clarity came from his father, who had one simple and focused message for his children, which he repeated over and over. Remember who you are. Make the keyword for your exercise a specific problem, and then have people write down related questions on their sticky notes. The complete microbiotic stack, black or red pepper, may be used for additional seasoning. The art of closing the sale. Once you have recorded this on your pad, you then ask Bill, which of these two should I pawn first? Protocrash. The arguments in the report was so long that it is easy to mock McKenzie, the author, and Bloomberg and Schumer, the sponsors. How to make one hell of a profit and still get to heaven. It's amazing what has happened, and this can be your future too if you do the same. Business plans for dummies. Put together a watertight business strategy. Whether you are already a part of an industry or are thinking of joining it as a new business owner, it's important that you understand what motivates both the market leaders and the rest of the pack. The heartbeat. Each beat of the heart has 3 pages. How not to age. Cholesterol has the same in vital effect. Easter, tradition and customs. For Christians, Easter is a religious holiday when they celebrate the resurrection of Christ. How rebel companies are changing market, hearts and minds, and how you can too. Ask a technology company what impact their products make, and they're likely to say something about reducing cost, increasing agility, or giving business users control without sacrificing speed or security. Success is a choice. Why were we always putting pressure on ourselves on the free throw line with 1 second to go? Creativity. Momentum turns an organization into a living, breathtaking, thinking company. how to get control of your time and your life. A few lines will do. I got a sweater. Ask, and it is the given. When you have lived an experience that helps you understand in an exaggerated way the very thing you do not want, you also understand in an exaggerated way when you do want. Marketing, collaborative human and machine thinking. Computers are known to have the ability of convergent thinking, identifying patterns and clusters in multiple unstructured datasets, which include not only text and numbers, but also images and audio visuals. So a third place. Judy Garland and I watched the New York Jets in Super Bowl III. Screw calm and get angry. Life is easy to chronicle, but bewildering to practice. Finding your element. 100 people of the same personality types in the room would all be different because they have different patterns, genes, experiences, interests, and so on. Release your brilliance. The trauma inflicted by sexual abuse is so deeply painful, it diminishes one's spirit. The miracles of your mind. What do you think caused him to sneeze? The water or the suggestion? Sneeze. Let my people go the shopping. What's the antidote? What's the antidote? One simple idea. And of course, you want them to love it. How to write letters for all occasions. The superscription may be in any of the three typewritten forms shown on the accompanying reproduction. $1 million lunch. And if we shared equally in the delivery, we would each earn $10,000. The promise of a pencil. And the philanthropy, something I cared deeply about, was built into the business. Everything is default. Learning this as an adult is incredibly painful, far more painful than it would have been had the child learned the lesson when he was younger. The 100 simple secrets of healthy people. Keep burgers away with wheat-based products. Albert is an entomologist. In common language, he studies birds. It's a good conversation start. American girls about the town. This is just a kind of a better time for me. They overspend the American. Why we want what we don't need? These issues have attracted some public attention, and some companies are making efforts to police conditions in the sweatshops with which they contract. sweatshop. Can we all get along? Racial and ethnic minorities in American politics, opening conjunction with the desegregation school system have adopted or expanded the scope of ability grouping of students and have concentrated minority students in lower level academic groups. Effective communication, steps to preparing a speech. Think about the structure. Consider the order in which you will deliver the information and think about what you will say in your introduction, in the body of the speech, and in your conclusion. Warrior girls. But I know now that it was the right thing. How to spend less without being miserable. You can use the price per wear calculation above to help you make this decision. Managing for people who hate managing. The better you get at this, the easier managing becomes. When genius had failed, if people did not care, it was because the monetary policeman had been so quick to patch any sign of trouble. They must be combined with other parts to form a complete sentence or unit. Microsoft is not about the grid. 55 secret nurses won't tell you. Doctors are clueless about what really happens in the beds, wards, and halls of our hospital. That's why we went to the experts. When I was abused, I blamed myself. Brain building games. Cognitive chick is holding an extra mystery word that is used in the saying, and she had started one letter to get you going. Raging happiness. Although parents don't always have full control over the variables related to their children's care, choosing child care and preschool are among the first and most important decisions their parents make regarding their children's environments, and there is a mountain of research that can inform these decisions. Advice on love and life from Dear Sugar. I have a voice instead of a crystal ball. The eel shot out and disappeared. First things are the first. We've all heard the stories of groups, athletic teams, companies, or other organizations that have marshaled their efforts to accomplish greater purpose. Red flags. How to know when you are dating a loser. How to dump him and move on. Red flag. Brain is on the spin cycle. Go hang it out on the line away from this washer. Positive energy. I looked up pampering on the internet and there were over 1 million references. Pampering. Commercial mortgages. Other sources such as Nexus or UCC findings may disclose foreclosures. But these sources are not reliable. And it's not going to last forever. E is for exceptional, the new science of success. Don't believe that's possible. The power of less, the fine art of limiting yourself to the essential in business and in life. Get rid of as much as you can. Reality check. If you are not the first one to answer, there's the temptation to say, I agree with what my colleague just said. Think why crucial decision can be made in the blink of an eye. You can bet on stress, that is problems, difficult situation. It is one of life's uncertainties. a life of material and spiritual abundance. While the following ratios may vary from lender to lender, and while each application is handled on an individual basis, the guidelines remain just that, guidelines. Create the ultimate courage. Courage making has never been easier for you. The Book of Awesome. When your windshield wipers match the beat of the song you are listening to. Cracking the success code. Again, this will depend on the type of business and the laws that regulate compensation. Fred factor. Which of their skills and characteristics would you like to develop in your life? Money mischief. Episode in monetary history. I conclude that the money supply relevant to domestic non-financial economic activities did behave as and I assumed. The Fusion Marketing Bible. A fractal is a mathematical equation that produces an image such that no matter how far you drill down or up, the original image continually reappears, such as the image in Figure 12. A brief history of time, and later real time, the universe would expand like the chaotic inflationary model proposed by L. But one would not now have to assume that the universe was created somehow in the right sort of state. The others up and down the table nodded their assent. General election must be held at least every 5 years. but the Prime Minister has the right to call election before the 5-year term has expired. Revolutionize teamwork, how to create and lead accountable teams. A shared fate is necessary because unless my success or failure is somehow tied to your success or failure, I am not likely to want to break the psychological contract. Instead, I will worry most about myself. Grab, grab, autograph, self-writing, photograph, write the writing. 50 psychology classics. Her father B captained ships and was a strict Lutheran. Waste from haste. When data indicated that houses and families were shrinking, for instance, planners concluded that smaller appliances were the wave of the future. Waste from haste. Pain without the gain. What fun we have together. Well done. Something happened to me on my recent trip that I hope will make a difference in the way I respond to your work. Your call is important to us. Travelocity had to follow suit and send the job to India. How to think like a CEO. As you build competence, criticism won't bother you so much. How to lead, or are you quite happy with what you are doing now? Winners take all. Through them will improve the lives of every person on the planet. $1 million consulting proposal. If you prepare yourself to deal differently before and or after, you can achieve success with this. The language instinct, how the mind created the language. In recent years, pediatricians have saved the lives of many babies with breathing abnormalities by inserting a tube into their tracheas. The pediatricians are trained on cats whose airways are similar, or by surgically opening a hole in their trachea below the larynx. May is used to ask politely to be permitted or allowed to do something. On AI, analytics, and the new machine age, factories with heavy investment in conventional equipment will struggle to customize products, make complex parts, reduce assembly, and adjust production to changing market demand. Insight and innovation that drive business and brand growth. We need a system in place to enable IBM to directly access the Hyatt in Atlanta. Always day one, how the tech titans plan to stay on top forever. As the tech giants succeed and the workplace technology improves, productivity grows, which helps us produce more goods for the same amount of the work. It is still slowing in the US. Managing hedge fund managers. The funds were forced to sell into a market in which there were no buyers, which drove returns even lower. The dollarization discipline, how smart companies create customer value and profit from it. Understanding the dollarized value of an offering to the target customer group is a critical ingredient to seeing new product pricing options more clearly. Day trading, performance relative to your time. A few pages back, when I talk about tracking your trades and doing a profit and loss statement, I say that you should calculate your hourly wage. The craving mind. And though it took me 6 months to sober up and face the music, my final binge was our engagement today. is always personal. While ostensibly no woman could be denied employment for which she was qualified, there were no clearly articulated guidelines for precisely how men in the male-dominated world of work should actually manage the integration of this new cohort of people who have inherently different operating styles. Cohort. The creative curve, how to develop the right idea at the right time. It turns out it wasn't that the Norris were truly twice as productive as other academics, but rather that they worked for mentors who tended to share credit. The landlord's family has owned the building for generations. His grandparents lived in Kay's apartment a few decades ago. Lobsters, gangsters of the sea. They may also encounter gills, green tourmaline, the digestive gland, and in a female red coral. The 50 high-impact speeches and remarks, proven words you can adapt for any business occasion. We intend to do just that, and I'm here to tell you and the people of Kenosha just how we'll do that. Doing business with the Japanese. Arrange for your meetings to be held in person and not over the phone. Dear Ann Landers or Lipin Ladders, he insists nothing out of the way is going on, but something sounds fishy to me. Something for nothing. The fear of incarceration, which serves as a deterrent to criminal behavior, loses effectiveness. The Iditarod Trail sled dog race is more than 1,000 miles long. The tiny book of the right shoe left, knowing that the left shoe was right. Beautiful boy, a father's journey through his son's addiction. I just needed to be on my own for a while. Coaching sends people into sales as a champion. Every time I say yes when I really needed to say no, I get put further behind the pile of commitments I needed to get through. keys to retirement planning. Besides these types of funds, you can also invest in funds called aggressive growth. Small companies, turnaround, special situation growth, small and growing companies, foreign stocks, foreign and domestic stocks, precious metals, ethical investment, option income, various sectors like healthcare or broadcasting, and so forth. How to make money with your blog. The ultimate reference guide for building, optimizing, and monetizing your blog. A podcast is most commonly a collection of MP3 music files. Money that hasn't been paid and built up. Intelligence, the creative response to now. The answer may not be so right. It may not correspond to the answers given in the books, but it will be intelligent. Making the most out of every day, regardless of what life throws you. Cleaning your house while your kids are still growing is like shoveling the work before it stops snowing. It was you, wasn't it? Said the district attorney, pointing to the woman on the other side of the courtroom. A quotation lover's guide to things you should never do, never say, or never forget. When my mother was about to marry my dad, she asked my dad's mother if she had any advice. Once you've cleaned him up, set him up with a more acceptable creative tactile endeavor, such as finger painting, while you clean up the rest of the mess he made. Tactile. The new digital age. The integration of such outside product, however, is not an easy process. Meeting military specification alone for ruggedness, utilization, and security can introduce damaging delays. What would American theater be without its juicy actors, playwrights, and directors? Innovation risk, make smarter decisions. All companies, even those in entirely B2B, brick and mortar industries, and now Facebook like the billions, brick and mortar. What did she thinking about with that strange smile of hers? Do fish drink water? Science. Is it true that toilets in Australia flush in the opposite direction from those in the United States down the drain? Winning the answers. That only happens in the movies. how to get things done without trying too hard. Now, isn't that easier? Double up. Start with why. How great leaders inspire everyone to take the action. But what about the other results? Working backwards. My team and I quickly learned that invention is a more challenging path than faster following. The big switch, rewiring the world from Edison to Google. The software is based on a simple and obvious principle. People tend to express their interest and discuss their opinions in many different places on the internet. A modern fable on real success in business and in life. Make others successful, and they'll make you successful. Mentor, the Kids and the CEO. A quick read. This book is a must at all ages. We finished the run in a pace and with a joy we had known in months. Think of a few general knowledge questions for which people from any culture should know the answer. The 22 immutable laws of marketing. Violate them at your own risk. In the supermarket, Pepsi Cola actually outsells Coca-Cola. Outsells. Marketing in the age of Google. Your online strategy is your business strategy. Depending on the content management system your organization uses and what internal process you have in place, determine best practice for communicating the types of details on a page label. A woman who takes things from a man is called a girlfriend. A man who takes things from a woman is called a gigolo. Good economics for hard times. An agreement reached in the paradox of choice. Why more is less. However, the stakes involved are considerably higher than just creating mild disappointment. Branding only works on cattle. Once you realize that the conversation in most social media isn't really a conversation at all, it empowers you to do something you could never do in the real world. Just say no. She was frightened out of her wits. The firstborn advantage, making the bus order work for you. Now I know what to do next time. Insect mantids. Fleas lay tiny eggs in batches of up to 20, usually on the host or nearby. Success in selling. He feels that every few others have similar problems. Choose them wisely, so to become things. Really unstoppable. If secret elements, lucky charms, or other non-new energies helped to craft your reality, how would you ever know what you were responsible for versus what was done by another? The wealthy gardener. How long has this been going on? Vaporize your anxiety. Once you can feel the energy of the fear in or around your body, then you will allow yourself to simply notice how big the energy field of the emotion is. Don't kill performance evaluation yet. They separate you from your customer. You can heal your life. Truth is the truth is the unchangeable part of me. Is it true? Is it true? A wedding anniversary. Ladies and gentlemen, 20 years ago my wife and I were go-between for the marriage of go-between. Think big, act small. How America's best performing companies keep the startup spirit alive. In the following pages, each of the building blocks is reintroduced with two short scenarios about the way your organization may think or act. All is well. Heal your body with medicine, affirmation, and intuition. So if you tend to be hyperactive or unfocused, you may need a calming affirmation. so you can let go of the anxiousness and the worry. Bold. How to go big, create wealth, and impact the world. Bottom line, the more you finish before lunch, the better off you will be. Bottom line.